Hi everyone, welcome to a new bonus episode from DGMZ. As you would have noticed, especially the regular viewers, this is not our usual weekend episode where we get into ghazals from Diwan-e-Ghalib. This is a bonus episode, and we are doing a bonus episode for Valentine's Day. So, as you know, DGMZ is a channel of love and light, and we wanted to celebrate Valentine's Day with our viewers and subscribers, and uh, wanted to create a bonus episode dedicated to this. Now, we are going to use a new style, if you may, or a new template for this bonus episode. And before I forget to mention this, I really do request you to share your feedback on whether you liked this template, whether you liked this format or not in the comment section once you have viewed the episode. I really need that feedback. We do not want to create more episodes in this format if this is not something you enjoyed listening to. But on the other hand, if you did enjoy listening to this type of an episode, then we would put in more time and effort to create additional episodes on the same lines. So, for this episode, we wanted to pick one aspect of love and focus on it. The plan is that you pick one aspect of love and then you build a storyline around it. And you take help of share and poetry and quotes from various sources to build this storyline around that one jazba or one aspect of love. Now, as we all know, love, one cannot even claim one knows all the aspects of love, right? So it was a difficult choice. What do we pick? And that is where we leaned into Valentine's Day and the overall background theme around Valentine's Day as we know it. So we all know that people in love, people wanting to express love, do take the opportunity on Valentine's Day to do that. So the expression of love is very centric to the Valentine Day celebration. And we thought, yes, that aspect probably will make the most sense to be picked for this episode. So that's how we came to a decision that we are going to use izhaar as our topic for this bonus episode. And we will build or try to build a hypothetical storyline around izhaar, a hypothetical chain of events that might happen. In no ways the channel prescribing these or recommending these. It's just a hypothetical storyline of a hypothetical scenario around this izhaar in love. So let's start with the word itself. So izhaar is an Arabic word. If you were to approximately translate it into English, one would come up with words like expression. But izhaar goes beyond just expression. So the technical meaning of izhaar is expression, statement, demonstration, written testimony, declaration, disclosure, proclamation, revelation. So you can see that there is much more gravitas to this word izhar compared to just simple expressing yourself, just simple expression or saying something. Izhar, unlike expression, is a very conscious, meaningful act, deliberate act of stating something, declaring something, proclaiming something, revealing something, right? And hence, this word is very frequently used in Urdu poetry by a lover to express their feelings to the beloved. And izhaar-e-ishq, या izhaar-e-mohabbat is the actual phenomena we are going to talk about in this episode. So izhar is declaration, but when you club it with izhaar-e-ishq, ishq which is love, or izhaar-e-mohabbat, mohabbat which again is love, then that becomes declaration of love, proclamation of love. And that is our topic for today. So now, in the journey of love, in the hypothetical journey of love, one would undertake izhaar-e-ishq or izhaar-e-mohabbat is a concrete milestone. It might come sooner, it might come later, but it does come. It does come, and usually one would need to achieve it. One would need to action on it as and when the opportunity arises. But one hypothetical question that we would like to probably answer through poetry is, should we do it? Should we do it? Do we have to do it? Is there no alternative reality where we can just go on loving someone without expressing it, without declaring it, without proclaiming it to them, and by extension to people around us, but at least to them, right? Is there a hypothetical alternative scenario where we do not do it or avoid doing it? Can we eliminate this milestone from the so-called journey of love? So let's get into the first couplet on this topic. This is from Josh Malihabadi. एक दिन कह लीजिए जो कुछ है दिल में आपके, एक दिन सुन लीजिए जो कुछ हमारे दिल में है. The approximate translation is, let's pick a day. Let's pick a day for you to say whatever is in your heart, and for you to listen whatever is in mine. Let's pick a day. And yes, इस शेर से तो ऐसा महसूस होता है कि both parties have to willingly come together and collaborate to open up the lines of communication. Open up the lines of communication. You got to say what you have to say, and you have to hear what they have to say. It's almost as if they owe each other this expression, this izhaar-e-ishq, this izhaar-e-mohabbat. It's almost as if it's a responsibility for the lovers to do this for each other. Moving on to the next couplet. हफीज जलंधरी का शेर है. तुम ही ना सुन सके अगर किस्साए गम, सुनेगा कौन? किसकी ज़बान खुलेगी फिर हम ना अगर सुना सके? So the approximate translation is, who else can listen to the story of my heart if not you? And who else can speak up and tell the story of my heart if not me? Nobody can. Nobody can. Only you and me can do this. First of all, nobody's going to come and do it for us. Secondly, nobody can do it for us. Only I can tell you the story of my heart, and only you can listen and understand the story of my heart. So we both are in this together. We both have a responsibility. We both have to do this together. Moving on. Now, yes, we should say it. Now, what if while we are going back and forth on the question of whether we should say it or not, what if the opportunity to do so passes by? What if the opportunity to indulge in izhaar-e-ishq or izhaar-e-mohabbat passes you by? Passes you by in such a way that it never comes back. And इस पे सलीम कौसर का शेर है, और इससे पहले कि साबित हो जुर्म खामोशी, हम अपनी राय का इजहार करना चाहते हैं. So the approximate translation is, before I'm condemned of silence, before I'm punished for being silent, by extension, before I commit the sin of being silent, I want to declare my opinion, my feelings. So it will be either by the person you love or by yourself. It will be held against you somewhere down the line that you never expressed it, that you never said it, because that was one responsibility you would have had to shoulder. And without you doing that, nobody could get an inkling of what's in your heart. And hence nobody could action anything, right? So yes, the opportunity might pass by and never come back, because the feelings are not going to go away. They will stay with you forever. But now there is no opportunity to express them for whatever reason, circumstantial, whatever reason. But now, yeah, these will be unsaid feelings forever and ever. And उर्दू पोइट्री, शायरी में हम लोगों ने कई बार गज़लों में ये पढ़ा है कि इश्क का तकाज़ा है कि इजहार होना चाहिए. तकाज़ा is demand. Love demands expression. If you are in love, your love for someone will demand from you that you express it to that person. And इस पर मुनव्वर राना का बहुत ही खूबसूरत शेर है, इश्क है तो इश्क का इजहार होना चाहिए, आपको चेहरे से भी बीमार होना चाहिए. So the approximate translation is, if there is love, there should be expression of love. And your face should show that you are in love, that you are lovesick. Because that's how we roll. when, when we are in love. We feel it, we express it, and many a times we cannot hide it. It will show on our face, it will show in our mannerisms, sometimes in our voice, in our actions. So yeah, the expression has to be there. Another couplet from Alam Khurshid. मांगती है अब मोहब्बत अपने होने का सबूत, और मैं जाता नहीं इजहार की तफसील में. So the approximate translation is that my love for someone is asking me for a proof, is demanding a proof. And here I am avoiding the nuances and the intricacies of declaring or proclaiming love. I'm shying away from it. And it's not as if the beloved is asking me to express my love for her. My love for her itself is demanding of me this expression and proclamation of love. So, like I said, ishq ka taqaza hai. Love demands expression. Your love for someone demands your expression of that love for someone. Moving on to the next hypothetical question or scenario, is it really under our control fully to decide whether we will express, show, proclaim, or declare love for someone we love? Is it really well controlled, all under control? And like we are the only decision maker. If we decide we are not going to do it, it's not going to happen. Is that actually true? Is that scenario actually true? So, रौनक बदायूं का एक शेर है which gives us a slight insight into this. दिल में हो दर्द इश्क, लबों पर फुगा ना हो, मुमकिन नहीं कि आग लगे और धुआं ना हो. So the approximate translation is it possible that you have the fire of love burning in your heart and the lips remain silent? And the second line is, it's not possible for there to be fire and no smoke. So by extension, if the fire of love is burning in your heart, the lips cannot remain silent for too long. They will express it. So, yes, we can control it to a certain extent, but this force of love, this intensity of love does have a mind of its own, and at times can take over and express itself if we do not express it in time, if we do not do justice to the act of expression. Sometimes this thing will take matters into its own hand and self-express, if you may. Now, moving on to the next question or hypothetical scenario. So, is it not expressing and keeping quiet all that it is made to be? Is it really that easy? Is it really that peaceful? Is it really that beneficial? Right? So, of course, we know that expressing ourselves or making a declaration of love is a tough uphill task. We know that. But on the flip side, not doing it, is it really that easy? Is that a possible long-term solution? Will that work in the long term for us if we decide not to express or proclaim our love for someone? So इस पर तनवीर समानी का ये शेर है, क्यों ना तनवीर फिर इजहार की जुर्रत कीजिए, क्यों ना तनवीर फिर इजहार की जुर्रत कीजिए, खामोशी भी तो यहाँ बाइसे रुसवाई है. So, the approximate translation of the sher is that why don't I sum up the courage one more time and try to express, try to do or indulge in izhaar-e-mohabbat and izhaar-e-ishq. Because being silent is also a reason of the beloved being annoyed with me, or the beloved might hold my silence against me. So of course, if I express, they might not respond or reciprocate. Yes, that's a scenario. But if I remain silent, they might hold that also against me. By extension, one can say that, well, you did not express anything. How was I supposed to know what you were feeling? You never gave me any verbal or otherwise any kind of expression of what you were feeling, no insight, no hint. How was I supposed to know that you felt so deeply for me? Should have told me, should have expressed it. So like I said, it might seem initially like a very good choice to keep quiet, but keeping quiet from this sher seems that has its own pitfalls. It's not that rosy, easy solution that it is made out to be. दूसरा शेर सलीम कौसर का. Okay, so we have covered this one. We'll skip that one. Let's go to the next one. शहजाद अहमद का शेर है, खामोशी ही में सही पर कभी इजहार तो कर, इस कदर जब्त से सीना तेरा फट जाएगा. So the approximate translation is, even if silently, even if with minimal words, even if subtly, do express yourself to me. Express your love for me. Because I have a feeling that if you keep it all locked inside for too long, this will tear your heart apart. So, being silent and holding it within and not expressing it almost seems that this cannot be a long-term solution, because there is a limit to how much you can hold in and for how long, right? So at least in शेरों से तो ऐसा लगता है कि express it, say it, that would be better. एक और शेर जहांगीर नायाब का, तुमसे कभी जो बोल ना पाया मैं एक बात, बन कर खलिश वो आज भी मेरे जिगर में है. So the approximate translation is that one thing that I could never express to you, that I could never declare to you, that one thing has turned into this raw wound which still festers after so many years. So the feelings don't go away. You don't express them, that doesn't mean that they will go away. They will stay. And because they never got an outlet or a healthy outlet, they might turn into something very painful, something that will stay with you in a very negative way, that will eat you from inside. And last one on this particular question of being silent and what is the price or cost of being silent and not indulging in izhaar-e-mohabbat or izhaar-e-ashqi. शाद अजीम आबादी का शेर है, खामोशी से मुसीबत और भी संगीन होती है, तड़प ए दिल तड़पने से ज़रा तस्कीन होती है. So the approximate translation is that silence makes the problem even worse. Keeping silent makes the problem even worse. Oh, my heart, indulge in your expression. Whether it is expression of love, expression of pain, whatever it is, indulge in it, because that will give you relief. That will take away this ache that you have. So, it seems that, yes, expressing is a tough task, but not expressing is also not an easy one. There is a price to be paid. It is not a viable long-term solution. It is not a viable long-term solution. Okay. So, let's move on to the next hypothetical scenario. We have come to a conclusion that we are going to indulge in izhaar-e-ishq and izhaar-e-mohabbat. We are going to proclaim. We are going to declare our love to the person, object of our affection. Right? What does it take? What does it take to do it? So, decision making में ही इतना ज़्यादा टाइम लग जाता है, जद्दोजहद इतनी होती है, बैक एंड फोर्थ इतना होता है. चलिए अब डिसीजन बन गया, अब आगे चलते हैं, अब करना है, व्हाट डू वी नीड टू एक्ट ऑन इट. सो इस हाइपोथेटिकल सिनारियो का आगाज़ हम लोग मिर्ज़ा गालिब के शेर से करेंगे. या रब वो ना समझे हैं ना समझेंगे मेरी बात, दे और दिल उनको जो ना दे मुझको जुबां और. The approximate translation is, Ghalib is saying, oh Lord, they just do not understand what I'm saying. I've tried many times. They just don't seem to get it. So can you do me a favor? Either God, you improve and enhance my ability to articulate, or improve and enhance their ability to sense, understand, feel. Because right now it seems I have suboptimal ability to articulate what I'm feeling, and they seem to have suboptimal ability to understand what I am, or feel or sense what I am saying. So there is a gap. There is a gap, the communication is not happening, the message is not reaching, this gap has to be bridged. ऐसा लगता है गालिब ने communication skills 101 इस शेर में कैप्चर कर लिया है कि भाई, when you are saying it, say it better, and when you are listening it, listen it better, because that is the 101 for effective communication. Now, what does it take? So this is one thing, that it will take clear articulation of what you're saying and a deep understanding of what you're hearing. Moving on, next thing, perseverance. And iske liye we have one share from izhaar-e-inayati. ये और बात कि आंधी हमारे बस में नहीं, मगर चिराग जलाना तो इख्तियार में है. So the approximate translation is, I agree that the storm and the strong winds it brings are out of my control. I have no control over it. The storm will come, it will bring the strong winds with it. But lighting the lamp again and again, is definitely in my power. That is in my control. So I can try again and again. Sure, the winds will come and extinguish the lamp, but I do have the ability, I do have the option to light it again. So perseverance. Maybe the first time you express something, it might not get across. Try again. Probably this time it will hit the mark. So there has to be a certain amount of perseverance. One should not probably expect everything to be crystal clear in the first round of conversation. अब गालिब अगर नहीं समझा पा रहे हैं बिलवड को अपनी बात, तो हम लोगों की क्या बिसात है ना? सो हम लोगों को तो काफ़ी ट्राइज लग जाएंगी नॉर्मल इंसानों को. The other thing that comes to mind as a prerequisite for doing this activity of izhaar-e-ishq or izhaar-e-mohabbat is courage. It takes courage. This is not something that comes easily. It is probably the most vulnerable aspect where you are professing that somebody means so much to you with no guarantees as to what you mean to them. In fact, sometimes no insight into what you mean to them. It's a big risk. So it requires a lot of courage. फैज़ अहमद फैज़ का ये शेर है, बोल की लब आज़ाद हैं तेरे, बोल ज़बां अब तक तेरी है. Beautiful शेर. So the approximate translation is, speak up. Your lips are free to move and talk. And the second line says, speak up. Your tongue is free to move and talk. God has equipped you with a mouth and a tongue to speak up, express, proclaim, declare. Use it. They are not tied. They are free. Use them. And then one of my favorite shares for this entire episode is this one. प्रियम वदा इल्हान का शेर है, कीजिए इजहार मोहब्बत चाहे जो अंजाम हो. कीजिए इजहार मोहब्बत चाहे जो अंजाम हो, जिंदगी में जिंदगी जैसा कोई तो काम हो. So the approximate translation is, go ahead, declare your love, profess your love, proclaim your love. Don't worry about the consequences. After all, in this lifetime, there should be one thing that you have done that is alive, fully alive, that has the force of life behind it. So again, like I said, requires a lot of courage. It requires a lot of courage. You have to put the force of life behind something like this to achieve it. And you should. This is worth it. एक और शेर आलमा इकबाल का, सितारों से आगे जहां और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं. So the approximate translation is, there are many worlds and universes and galaxies beyond the stars you can see. And then in the second line, in love, there are many, many more tests beyond the ones you can see. So, ऐसा लगता है कि इस शेर में they are saying that, guys, this is the first test. If you are going to take so long to get through this one, well, this journey of love has a million tests on it. Bigger, tougher, larger. Do not, let's get going. Let's get done with this. Let's express. And मतलब कहानी तो उसके बाद चालू होगी. एक्सप्रेशन पे ही अटक गए अगर इसी मुकाम पे अटक गए, आगे तो फिर कुछ होगा ही नहीं. भी तो इतना कुछ है. So again, I found this share very inspiring. That just keep checking the items. You do not have to get stuck, or do not allow yourself to get stuck, get into a situation where you're overthinking the whole thing so much that time is just passing by, opportunity is just passing by, and you still haven't taken the first step of expressing. Now, still staying on the topic of prerequisites. So, perseverance, courage. Now, let's go to your gut feeling. So, love is something that operates from the gut, primarily, from the soul, from the heart. Love is not something which can be rationalized or which can be bent to work according to a logic or a formula or a template. And this particular share from Akbar Allahabadi captures that beautifully. So this is how the share goes. इश्क नाजुक मिजाज है बेहद, अकल का बोझ उठा नहीं सकता. So the approximate translation is, love is very delicate and fragile. It has a very delicate and fragile temperament, mijaz, right? Ishq nazuk mijaz hai behad. So it has a very delicate and temperament, my apologies. It has a very delicate and fragile temperament. It cannot bear the burden of logic and brain. So if you burden the feeling of love with brain and logic and rationalization and analysis and analytics and overthinking, you will crush it. It will crumble under the pressure of all this. It's not designed to carry this burden. Love operates at a gut level. It operates at the soul level. It operates within the heart, primarily. And of course, we are not saying that one would totally throw caution to wind and start acting illogically and whatever. I think the essence of the share is, you cannot overthink, overanalyze, over-rationalize love. You have to go with your gut as far as love or expression of love or proclamation of love goes. Still on the prerequisites for declaration of love or izhaar-e-mohabbat. The next one that comes to mind is, when you are indulging in this activity of izhaar-e-ishq or izhaar-e-mohabbat, you cannot focus on the result primarily. Yes, of course, one would think about kya anjam hoga iska, how will this pan out, but you can't totally focus on it. You can't totally focus on it because That should not be your primary objective. Your primary objective should be, let me grab an opportunity to fully, truly, purely express my love. अब उसका रिजल्ट क्या होगा, that cannot be my center of attention. Of course, I will think about it, but it cannot be my center of attention. And उसके लिए ये शेर जिया जलंधरी का, इश्क में भी कोई अंजाम हुआ करता है, इश्क में याद है आगाज़ ही आगाज़ मुझे. Approximate translation, was there ever endings in love? What I remember of love is just beginnings and some more beginnings and some more beginnings, right? So the essence of the share is, in love one should focus on beginnings, all those sweet beginnings, and not worry and overthink and spend too much time on the endings, because that's what your focus should be. And then the last prerequisite for this would be that it takes time. It takes time. This is izhar. This is not just, okay, today I felt it, so I got a feeling kind of a thing. No, this is izhar. This is declaration, proclamation. You've thought about it. There's a gravitas to it. And hence it takes time. People usually do not rush into proclamation and declaration of love. It is usually a very well thought, determined action. And उसके लिए कुमार बाराबंकी का ये जो शेर है, ये कहना था उनसे मोहब्बत है मुझको, ये कहने में मुझको ज़माने लगे हैं. So the approximate translation is, what I wanted to tell her was that I love her. And to tell her that I love her, it took me ages. It took me ages. So that kind of covers the prerequisites for the izhaar-e-mohabbat and izhaar-e-ashqi. Now so you've got the prerequisites, you have the ammunition, now you're doing it. Doing it also is a very unique activity, because it is very personal. Everybody has their own style, and everybody's style is unique to their personality, to their limitations, to their strengths, to their style. So few different styles of expressing love, right? Now you can decide what's your style. बट अर्श मलसियानी का ये जो शेर है, मोहब्बत सोज भी है, साज भी है, खामोशी भी है, ये आवाज़ भी है. So love manifests in different ways. It can manifest as a burning passion, it can manifest as soothing music, it can manifest as silence, it can manifest as sound. So when the manifestation of love can go in so many different directions, the expression of love also can go in many different directions. One can express love in many ways. The spoken word is not the only way to express it. And as we know, in Urdu poetry, we are very partial. We're very fond of the silent types, right? The ones who use minimal words to say maximum. So those are the ones we are going to get into first. So पहला शेर तौकीर अहमद का, ज़बां खामोश मगर नज़रों में उजाला देखा, उसका इजहार मोहब्बत भी निराला देखा. Approximate translation is, her tongue remained silent, but her eyes remained lit up. And this expression of love, this style of expression of love that she had was so unique. Never saw it this way. Second शेर, हनीफ अखगर का, इजहार पे भारी है खामोशी का तकल्लुम, हरफों की ज़बां और है, आँखों की ज़ुबां और. So we are still with the silent types. So the approximate translation of the sher is that silence many a times has an upper hand on spoken words. Many a times during the expression of love, silence has an upper hand on spoken words because words have their own language and eyes their own. So there are many things which cannot be expressed by words alone. There are many things which can only be expressed by eyes. So again, silent types. एक और शेर, फसी अकमल का, मुद्दा इजहार से खुलता नहीं है, ये ज़बाने बेज़ुबानी और है. So the approximate translation is that the crux of the matter seldom gets revealed by izhar, by the declaration, by the proclamation, by the spoken word. Because this crux of the matter has a language which is not spoken. So again, matters of the heart, right? Matters of the heart can be expressed by words, but many a times not. Many a times not. Next couplet from मकबूल नक्श, यूं तो अश्कों से भी होता है आलम का इजहार, हाय वो गम जो तबस्सुम से आया होता है. Approximate translation is usually pain is expressed through tears. Grief is expressed through tears. But then there are griefs which are expressed by smiles. Those are in a class of their own. Those are different type of griefs where they are expressed via a smile. And then this last one for the silent types. वसीम बरेलवी का शेर, दुख अपना अगर हमको बताना नहीं आता, तुमको भी तो अंदाज़ा लगाना नहीं आता. So the approximate translation is, yeah, I am the silent type, so I agree. I am not able to articulate and verbalize my pain to you. But then let me point out that even you are not very good at sensing the pain or the feelings. So I am not good at articulating them. I am poor at articulating them, but you are equally poor at sensing them without having to listen to them. So that takes care of the silent types. Now let's move to the wordy types, the ones who will use lot of words, right, to do their izhaar-e-mohabbat or izhaar-e-ashqi. So पहला शेर बहादुर शाह जफर का, हाले दिल क्यों कर करें अपना बयां अच्छी तरह, रूबरू उनके नहीं चलती ज़बां अच्छी तरह. Approximate translation, how do I express the feelings in my heart to her? Because the problem is that when I get face to face with her, the tongue does not work well, stops working well. So I'm trying to speak, but the tongue is not cooperating. So this one is not the silent type. They are trying to speak, but just being face to face with somebody you love kind of puts a wrench in the whole thing. नेक्स्ट कपलेट फ्रॉम जलील मनिकपुरी. सब कुछ हम उनसे कह गए लेकिन ये इत्तेफाक, कहने की थी जो बात वही दिल में रह गई. सो अप्रॉक्सीमेट ट्रांसलेशन इज, I talked to her about everything. But what a coincidence that one thing that was main and central to my conversation to her remained unsaid. So I guess weather वगैरह सब डिस्कस हो गया बट काम की बात नहीं रही. एंड ऐसा नहीं है कि स्मॉल टॉक की होगी, बातें सब लाजमी होंगी, but skimming around the main crux of the matter, that I love you, right? So skimming around that topic, talking about everything else which is relevant, but वो एक बात रह गई. नेक्स्ट कपलेट जलील आली का. दिल पे कुछ और गुजरती है मगर क्या कीजिए, लफ्ज़ कुछ और ही इजहार किए जाते हैं. So approximate translation again is, what I feel in my heart, what my heart is going through is entirely different from what my tongue is saying in front of her. They are not matching. So the tongue is talking about I do not know what, but it certainly is not about what my heart is going through. Next couplet, Hafiz Jalandhari का. दिल सभी कुछ जुबां पर लाया, एक फ़कत अर्ज़ मुद्दा के सिवा. So same theme repeating again and again. The approximate translation is, my heart brought everything to my lips or my tongue in front of her. So my heart made me talk about everything except that one thing, which was the most important thing, which was the main crux of the matter. Now, the silent type, the wordy type, and the third one is the righty type. The ones who write, right? I mean, all the poets, all the shayars, even normal people who are eloquent with writing. And इसके लिए हमारे पास सिर्फ दो ही शेर हैं. Let's go through it. पहला वाला मदन पाल. जब नाम तेरा प्यार से लिखती हैं उंगलियां, मेरी तरफ ज़माने की उठती हैं उंगलियां. So the approximate translation is, whenever my hands start to write to you, declare my love to you, profess my love to you, whenever my fingers get involved in this exercise of declaring, professing my love for you, fingers of people around me start pointing. So basically, my declaration of love leads to people objecting, right? My declaration of love leads to people objecting. And the second share is from Farhat Ehsaas. शायरी को मेरा इजहार समझता है मगर पर्दा शेर उठाना भी नहीं चाहता. So the approximate translation is, my beloved does take my poetry that I write as my declaration of love, but hesitates to go deep into the meaning of my poetry. So again, skimming on the surface, they don't go deep and understand what I'm trying to say to them through my poetry. They know I'm trying to say something, but they refuse to accept the meaning or my message in entirety and totality. Now, that brings us to the last aspect which we want to explore for this izhaar-e-mohabbat or izhaar-e-ashqi. So what is the result? Throughout we have tried to say through various couplets that sure, everybody is vested in the result, but do not make it your focus. do not make it the central theme of this activity. The central theme of your izhar should be an opportunity to express your love. Truly, completely, purely, beautifully, sincerely. Now, coming to the result, before we get into it, let me remind you of my favorite share from Priyam Vada Ilhan for this bonus episode. कीजिए इजहार मोहब्बत चाहे जो अंजाम हो, जिंदगी में जिंदगी जैसा कोई तो काम हो. सो करना तो ये है. अब रिजल्ट्स देखते हैं. पहला शेर अकबर इलाहाबादी. इश्क के इजहार में हर चंद रुसवाई तो है, पर करूं क्या अब तबीयत आप पर आई तो है. So the approximate translation is that I know that declaration of love, this whole process of declaration of love at every step is riddled with my beloved holding one thing or the other against me and my declaration of love. But what can I do? I am in love. I'm in love. I have to express. सेकेंड शेर शेफ्ता मुस्तफ़ा खान का. इजहार-ए इश्क उससे ना करना था शेफ्ता, ये क्या किया कि दोस्त को दुश्मन बना दिया. सो यस, one of the biggest risks, right, in terms of result. So the approximate translation is शेफ्ता अपना तखल्लुस यूज़ कर रहे हैं. You should not have gone ahead with your izhaar-e-ishq, izhaar-e-ashiqi. You should not have gone ahead with your declaration or proclamation of love because, see, what you have landed up doing is you've turned a friend into an enemy. Because probably the friend was not interested in being a lover, and when they came to know that the author or the poet loves them, they decided to cut all ties. So a friend turned into an enemy. Next couplet, फिगार उन्नाबी का. क्या मिला अर्ज़े मुद्दा से फिगार, बात कहने से और बात गई. So the approximate translation is, what did you achieve by expressing the crux of the matter? By expressing, you just took away the seriousness or the intensity of what you were expressing, because clearly there was no reciprocation. So whatever you put out there, it was kind of a waste, right? It undermined, it lessened the intensity of what you said. अब ये शेर है, we are not prescribing to anything, right? बस शेर है. Next one from अहमद फजल खान. अच्छी खासी दोस्ती थी यार हम दोनों के बीच, एक दिन फिर उसने इजहार मोहब्बत कर दिया. Same theme. Approximate translation is, we had such a great friendship between us, and then one day they went ahead and declared their love for me. By extension, the friendship got over because I did not reciprocate. कुमार विकास का ये शेर, हाय इजहार करके पछताए, उसको एक दोस्त की ज़रूरत थी. Approximate translation is, I am regretting professing my love because what I found out after my proclamation of love was that all they needed or all they were interested in was a friend. Now this one from Amir Minai. तुमको आता है प्यार पर गुस्सा, मुझको गुस्से पे प्यार आता है. So the approximate translation is, you are getting angry and furious on my declaration and proclamation of love, and at my end I am falling in love more as you are getting angry. So you are getting angry on my love and I am falling in love with your anger, and that's a very interesting scenario. अब ये तो सब शेर जो थे, they were capturing a scenario where one has some regrets after actually going ahead and indulging in इजहार आशिकी और izhaar-e-mohabbat. ये दो शेर जो हैं लास्ट के, they are kind of positive. So this one is from Amir Minai again. हंस के फरमाते हैं वो, देख के हालत मेरी, क्यों तुम आसान समझते थे मोहब्बत मेरी. So the approximate translation is that my beloved smiles or laughs and when she looks at me, and will ask me, you know, in a lighter vein, what did you think was gonna happen when you fell in love with me? Did you think this is gonna be an easy, stroll in the park? So yeah, here I am in pain and grief and, all worked up, and she just looks at me and my state and says, what did you think? Did you think this was gonna be an easy one? And the last share for this episode from Akbar Alabadi. जो कहा मैंने कि प्यार आता है मुझको तुम पर, हंस के कहने लगा और आपको आता क्या है. Approximate translation is that when I professed and declared and proclaimed my love to her, right, and told her that I am falling in love with you, she smiled and laughed and asked me, what else do you know except for falling in love with me? That's all you do, that's all you know, so of course you're falling in love with me. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this hypothetical chain of events for the entire izhaar-e-mohabbat and izhaar-e-ashiki. I will, at the expense of repeating myself, again say, if you liked the format of this episode, if you enjoyed the way we went through the content, right, the template of couplets and a hypothetical storyline, do let me know in the comments. We did put in a lot of hard work in this, so very keen to know your feedback on it. All said and done, despite the way it was presented, I think the couplets and the share themselves were so beautiful that I am sure you would have enjoyed listening to them, but I do hope the way they were weaved into a story was also enjoyable. I hope you all are having a beautiful Valentine Day, full of love and light, and I look forward to the next weekend episode. Till then, everybody, thanks for watching.